and I'm the founder of Women in Block and also Topper Blockchain. The purpose of this organization, Women in Block, is to encourage women leadership in executive roles in the blockchain industry, which is an emerging industry by nature. And as every emerging industry, it gives opportunities for growth that are very abundant and quick as well. So if we can now generate a participation of women in this industry, I believe that within a few years we're going to lead. So that's the purpose of this organization, to share knowledge, to share opportunities with each other, to become experts as much as we can, and to lead the blockchain and crypto industry in the future. And now I'd love to introduce to the stage Ms. Shelly Algoyan, who's the founding member of iAngels. And today we're going to discuss the future of the blockchain industry, blockchain crypto industry. Good morning. Good morning. Let me give you a microphone. All right. Hi. First of all, I'd love to hear a little bit more about iAngels, if you can give us an overview. And I also heard that 80% of the organization are actually women. Is that true?
Yes, it's true. Now maybe 90. So iAngels is a VC platform and investment firm that I founded together with More Asia 5 years ago. And we facilitate investments into Israel entrepreneurship and into startups in Israel, mostly dedicated to software. From investors all over the world. We have investors today from 45 countries, close to 1,000, and we manage over $150 million.
Great, thanks. So I'd love to hear your opinion about the market. Everybody's worried about the market, what's going on, what happened this year, and just to share the perspective of how it's different from any other industry, or what are the similarities of these ups and downs in other industries as well.
Well, blockchain is a phenomenon and an innovation that's at very, very early stages. In the last year, let's say from 2017, we've experienced a bull run in both Ethereum and Bitcoin, and many people that have made investor returns from these protocols have wanted to invest more and support the ecosystem, which has fueled a lot of projects that were created to build a blockchain. And because this period was basically led mostly by retail investors and people that don't necessarily have experience in investing, we experienced a lot of excitement and a lot of exuberance. And as the market started cooling off, we're seeing more and more people and more investors increase kind of their expectations and increase their standards. And so right now we're kind of at a cooling off period. We're still at the very early stages of the blockchain, meaning that the infrastructure and the technology driving blockchain is still at very early stages. And so it's difficult today to build real-world applications on top of the blockchain. So today a lot of entrepreneurs and basically teams are working on building kind of those building blocks. And so we're still at a very exciting period. It certainly cooled down a bit. There's more regulatory scrutiny, but it's a good thing overall.
So what's next then? So what are we going to be seeing at the end of this year in 2018?
I think it's really a period where founders and investors are kind of putting their heads down to work and create products. And the first step before I think we're going to experience the next step up is really for us to start seeing products being shipped. and products that are being used. And I think it's going to take maybe a couple of years from now. There are many investors and corporates entering the space today, and they're looking for ways to invest and to participate in the economies. There are questions about what role will the investors have. I mean, is it just kind of providing capital, or will investors take a more participative role in the companies that they're involved with, whether it's incubation, whether it's mining, whether it's actually helping building out the protocols and the applications. And so many things, both on the kind of structural and economic side, but also on the technological side, are being figured out as we go. And I think in many ways it can be compared also to the evolution of internet, which took several decades until we actually experienced full force how internet changed our lives.
So are there any specific subsectors of blockchain and crypto that are, let's say, hot right now for investors? Anything that the investors are looking for?
Well, I think the most immediate term in terms of blockchain is still building out the tech stack. So we've been involved and we've been investing in projects that are working on building infrastructure, building blockchains. For example, Telegram. For example, here in Israel, we invested in a company called Space Mesh, which built a novel consensus mechanism that highlights fairness and trust within the ecosystem. I think we're at a point in time where, in order for institutional investors to enter the blockchain space, they need proper custody solutions. So we've been investing in companies, for example, like First, that are working on building a bridge between corporates and institutionals that want to enter the space and want the security, and also in companies like cybersecurity companies like Puzzle that are working on cybersecurity and storage solutions, which is also an area where Israelis excel.
It's very strong, right? So, what is your position on ICOs, initial coin offerings, and how do you view them vis-a-vis traditional equity investment, or maybe there is a space for both or a combined type of view?
So I think the greatest thing about ICOs is that it really that it created a mechanism for people from all over the world to invest, and it's basically an evolution of crowdfunding, if you think about it, and it gives projects and entrepreneurs the ability to reach thousands and thousands of people and collect small amounts of money or digital assets from them in a very short period of time. The ICOs, though, need to be adjusted. They need to be adjusted to provide more investor protections, to provide more of an alignment of interest. I think the biggest problems that the market suffered, and one of the reasons for what we would call kind of the bust in the ICO bubble recently, is the fact that that there was no alignment of interest between kind of token holders and founders, in the sense that people wanted to treat blockchain startups as though they're regular startups, like equity startups. It's not the same as when I invest, for example, in Apple stock, and then I know that I have a share in Apple, and I'm entitled to any kind of profits that Apple provides over the years. In blockchain, or when you're investing, for example, in a utility token, there's actually no connection and no correlation oftentimes between the token that you're buying and the economic value that the protocol creates. And so what we saw is a lot of entrepreneurs going out and raising money and focusing very much on the short term on raising that money, but then nothing that really ties these teams and these entrepreneurs to the investors or the people who funded the project in the long term. And so I think that what we're going to see in the next couple of months is investors and founders and entrepreneurs really working together on finding ways to build these new economies and build these new networks in a way that create value for everyone, and alignment of interest for everyone, and more investor protections.
And the last question is, if anybody were to enter this industry right now, do you have any words of wisdom for them?
Words of wisdom. Well, it depends who is anyone.
Let's talk about entrepreneurs.
I think for entrepreneurs, it's really a question of finding something valuable that you want to do that really requires a blockchain, and that no one else is, or that there aren't already kind of established teams that are working. Because if there are talented entrepreneurs or talented developers, there are a lot of teams today and a lot of groups that have a lot of funding and very ambitious projects, which you can easily connect with them and try to help them. And I think today for the blockchain, it's really the whole market of kind of short-term flipping and raising money is gone. So you really have to think about this long-term and come in with the breadth and the understanding that it's like any startup that takes, several years, oftentimes 10 or more years to build a real company, build a real business. There's no difference here.
Amazing, thank you so much.